Hi everyone, it's Marisa with Bumblebee Apothecary. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to give a little update on how our family is doing with the GAPS diet, and I also wanted to share a tip that can be really helpful when you're doing the GAPS diet, and that is being able to figure out the difference between a detox or die-off reaction or symptoms flaring up that mean that your body is actually just not tolerating something. So let's jump in and talk about that. So first, a quick little update. So the two people in my family who are doing the GAPS diet right now are my husband and my 18-month-old son. So my husband decided to try the ketogenic version of the GAPS diet. He's going very low carb, eating lots of healthy fats and protein and very little carbohydrates. And so far that's going really well. There's a little bit of an adjustment period as your body switches over to being fat burning rather than carbohydrate burning as its main source of energy, but he went through that really easily and he's feeling really good. So that's going really well. And as for my son, he is also doing really well. We started off, like I mentioned in my previous GAPS update video, which I will link below, kind of going through the introduction stages quickly, but we figured out that we needed to slow way down and kind of back up a little bit because his rash was getting worse. He was getting the die-off reactions, and so we needed to slow down and cut back a few things. So now he is going forward. He's on pretty much the full GAPS diet, except that he's not having honey, he's not having sweeteners. He has had a little bit of fruit, but not a lot, so we're not doing very many sweet things. Fermented vegetables were one thing that we needed to stop for right now because they were causing a lot of a die-off reaction. The rash got really worse when I introduced those. But fermented dairy he's doing really well with, so he's eating a lot of yogurt, our homemade fermented sour cream, things like that. Other dairy like cheese he seems to be fine with. So he's pretty much doing those things. And then the other thing that we figured out he has to avoid is coconut. Coconut has a lot of properties in it that can kill pathogens and yeasts and bacteria. It's actually very good, but it can be kind of powerful if your body's not used to it. So that was one thing that I noticed really caused a flare up and a die-off reaction in him. So we're avoiding all coconut right now. And so he is just enjoying lots of meat and vegetables, some cheese and the yogurt, sour cream, things like that, a little bit of fruit on the side. We did start to kind of gradually introduce something that had a little bit of coconut oil. I have homemade yogurt strawberry popsicles that we make from the same thing that we make with smoothies, and it has a little bit of coconut oil in there. And so he's eaten those a couple times and it didn't really seem to make the rash come back. So we're just going to kind of gradually ease forward with that. And so he's doing really well. He's happy, he's sleeping really well, and I just think it's helping him a lot. So now let's talk a little bit about how to tell the difference between if your body is having a die-off reaction or if it's a true intolerance that you're experiencing. So as you're going through the GAPS diet introduction stages, it's best to start off moving through them fairly quickly. You want to spend maybe a couple days, 2 or 3 days on each stage. You don't want to stay too limited on what you're eating for a long time if you don't need to. But if you start experiencing symptoms like, if you start to experience something like a rash or whatever type of symptoms that you had previously to the GAPS diet, if those things got better and went away on the first stages, whatever stages that you made through so far, and then they come back, then that is a die-off. So those pathogenic bacteria in your gut, they release toxins all the time. And when they die, they release a lot of toxins. So that's why we get the die-off reactions. We can feel yucky headaches, feel like we have the flu, we can have skin rashes pop up, things like that. So if that happens, then you just need to slow down. You need to go back a stage and just hang out on that for a while, and then slowly try to progress. Add one food in at a time so that you can tell what it is that's causing the reaction. That's really important. And then also, if you can write down what you eat on what day and then any reactions that you notice, that can really help you figure out what it is that's causing that. Now, so that is a reaction, a die-off reaction or detox reaction. Another thing that can happen is if new symptoms show up that you didn't have before, that's also the sign of a detox or die-off reaction. So same thing, back up, slow down, hang out on whatever stage you're doing well on and feeling good at, let some healing take place, and then slowly move forward and add the next stage in. Another thing that can happen on the GAPS diet is that symptoms that you were dealing with just keep on getting worse no matter what, and they're not getting better. You're staying on one stage of the introduction diet and things are just, they're not resolving themselves. That is usually when your body is reacting to something and not tolerating it. So for example, if you had a really hard time digesting dairy before the GAPS diet, and you're to the point where you're supposed to start introducing that, and you're trying it, you're eating it every day, and it's just not working, you're just having the same problems, your body's not ready for it yet. You're just going to keep reacting, and you're not going to be able to heal. So what you have to do is back up again and just hang out on the stages where you're not reacting, let your body heal, and then gradually start up again. It can be hard to tell what's happening if it's a detox, kind of a healing crisis, or if it's a true reaction to where your body can't tolerate something, but the solution is pretty much the same. Slow down, go back, just hang out wherever you need to, and then gradually go forward. So I hope that is helpful. I know that for me doing the GAPS diet, that was one of the most confusing things to try to figure out, to try to figure out how to deal with it also, what to do. So I hope that helps you if you're doing the GAPS diet or if you're taking care of someone who's doing it. If you have questions for me, feel free to leave a comment below. I always reply to all of my comments that I get, and I like hearing from people. Let me know also what you want me to talk about as well. If you like this video and found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. That helps get this information out to more people. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. I make new videos every week, and I like to talk about how to make organic, handcrafted skincare and baby products, and I also like to talk about healthy lifestyle tips. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.